Alright, so today we're gonna try to put in the motor into the drift car, and before we do that we have to get a few parts out of the way because we figured it might be a little bit easier to install now rather than when the motor's already in the car. Alright, so the parts that we're gonna install are the new E34 throttle cable. So you need this different throttle cable because it's a different length, and this is just pretty much what you need. And the E34 throttle cable will be the perfect length for an M50 or M52 swap for the E30. So I got that one new. It's only about $30 or so. And while I'm at it, I figured I might as well just throw in a few more refreshing bits. And these little 3 pieces are from Garagistics, and it replaces this little plastic piece, which is a little flimsy. And this nice little aluminum piece should make the throttle cable feel a little bit more responsive when you're pressing down on the pedal. And what else is also cool are these Delrin Accelerator pedal bracket bushings. I believe that's what they're called, or you know, the right name to call it. But there are normally these little rubber bushings, which I'll show you right now. So down here where the pedals are, you can kind of see right there, right over here, there is a little bushing that holds this metal bracket, and it also connects over to the other side, and the accelerator pedal connects to that. So as you can see, it's kind of moving, and if you can notice, it has a lot of play. So if I were to wiggle this, it wiggles really easily because these bushings get really old and just really sloppy. So when you're pressing on the pedal, sometimes there's some dead space where the pedal won't do anything because it just flexes up there. So when you replace those Delrin bushings into there, it removes all that play and it makes it way more direct when you're pressing on the pedal. And it'll make the pedal feel just that much better. These pieces are all pretty easy to install, and they are pretty inexpensive for at least the performance gain that you get from it, or at least the feeling that you get when you drive your car, because all of these things you'll definitely notice when you're driving. And for the little cost and for having like brand new parts, I think they're personally worth it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and go on that route. But alright, let's take out all the stock stuff and throw all the new stuff in, and I'll just show you guys how to do it. So to take off the accelerator cable, you got to take off that little hook there from this bracket. So that hook right there is actually a part of the accelerator cable. But once you get that off, then you can then take off a clip that holds the whole cable to the firewall. So that's probably going to be the harder part. I think you can see it right there. That black square, you have to push the tabs in and then pull it out from the engine bay. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this since this is gonna be really hard to film, but all right. If you wanna save a lot of time, you could just break the clip like what I did. I just jammed a flathead and it broke one of the edges, but you can kind of see it right there, how that looks compared to the new one. So now just gotta push this in and get the clips to latch, and then connect this hook to that cable, and that'll be good for the throttle cable install. But you can already tell the difference right here. This one's super short and this one has an angle to it, obviously, and a little bit longer.
Hard when there's nothing. Oh, there you go. It's in? Cool. Is that it? What?
Alright, so doing the pedal bushings is also really straightforward. All you need is like some needle nose pliers and a flathead, and all I had to do was take off some clips. So there's one clip that connects to the pedal bracket on the left side, and if you notice, there's not even any bushing in there anymore, so it just moves in a lot. And that's because in the process of taking it out, the old stock bushing just crumbled into like a million pieces. And if you look over here, the stock bushing that goes into there is plastic, and it just is super brittle after, you know, 30 or so years. There is even a chance that you might not even have that anymore. So this is a worthy upgrade. But once you get that out, I disconnected the accelerator cable over from here, and all what holds that is this little C-clip, which connects to that little bracket, or that little arm right there. So you just pull this off with the needle nose, and then you should be able to take this whole piece off now. It's just hard to do with one hand. There you go. just like that. So now I'm gonna go and replace the bushings, which connect to the brackets where those connect to. So I'm just gonna insert the bushings right here and over there, and should be good to go. All right, so it's been a while since I was gonna go and install those pedal bushings, but that's because I just haven't had time, and I was actually missing one of the tools. I forgot to pick this up when I went over to Logistics, but they include this in the kit when you buy the Delrin pedal bushing sets. So it's a little tool that they made, so it's like a CNC cut piece with a nut, bolt, and a washer. And the way it works is this is pretty much going to be used to squish in these bushings onto the little piece where it connects to. So I believe the way it would go is you unscrew it, take it out, and I haven't tried this yet, but I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then you put the bushing in, it fits perfectly, and then you put the washer on, and then the bolt. And then obviously the piece that you're gonna be putting it into goes in between here too. So I'm gonna try to get a close-up of that so you guys can kind of understand more about what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to explain, especially since I kind of have to look at it too myself. But yeah, so I'm gonna go try to get a good camera angle on that. But pretty much just know that Logistics does include a tool to install these bushings smoothly and cleanly, and it's not too hard to do. I mean, all you have to do is have a wrench and a ratchet, or 2 wrenches, and you'll be good. After you get that one, then you just have to get the other one on the other side, and it's the same exact deal, and you should be good. So I removed the bushing on the other side, and it was still intact, and it's actually like a softer plastic. I guess over time the other one just became really brittle, but this has a little bit of play in it, while this Delrin one has like no play. So now the pedal should feel a lot more solid with this on, so I'm just gonna go slide those on and put the bracket back on, and we should be good. Yeah, so right now we're just gonna go get the motor off the stand and connect the transmission and clutch, flywheel, all that stuff, and see how far we can get today, and hopefully we'll be able to throw it into the car, but we'll see. All right, it's pretty dark now, but we actually did it. The motor is now in the car, so check it out. Yup, and we have the motor mounts all mounted up already. Just need to tighten that bolt, but it went pretty smoothly. The only thing is I recommend keeping the motor mounts a little loose from the subframe so that you could wiggle it a little bit so you can make it line up with you know, your motor mount arms. And for us, and I'm pretty sure that is how it always will be, but I mean, if you have the hoist set up similar to ours, then it's gonna tilt a little to the left. So this one is gonna go in first. And then after that, like I said, we had the motor mount loosely connected to the subframe here so that we wiggled it a little bit to the right, and that made it line up perfectly with the motor mount on this side. Once we figured that part out, everything was super straightforward. But we did it. I mean, you know, we still have to do quite a bit of work to get this thing to run, but I'm still waiting for some knock sensors for this, but I pretty much have everything else to get this thing to run. So we're just gonna go ahead and figure out what to do next, and we'll get to it. But we actually did it. We finally got the motor in the car. Thank you, Christian.
The face of satisfaction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But it looks so good in there. Look at it. I mean, M50s are really popular, and I've seen a lot of cars with M50s and S50s and stuff, but seeing it in my own E30, wow, what a time. I don't know, me and Christian were talking about this earlier, but we kind of like the look without that plastic cover on it. What do you guys think? Do you guys like it better with or without? I don't know, but yeah. And we also took off the headers because I figured while I'm here, I might as well put on some like aftermarket headers. So I think I'm just gonna get some cheap eBay ones because I heard a lot of people run those and they work just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna go get the exhaust custom made from my friend Luis, who did all of the exhausts on the turbo cars. So that should be fun. I know he's gonna do a great job on it. He wants me to do a side exit exhaust, but I don't know. I don't know if I want it to be too loud. Let me know what you guys think too. All right, so the motor's now in the car, and we thought we were gonna do a lot more, but turns out we're missing a couple pieces. So before we throw the drive shaft in and the shifter and the rest of the other little things, I need to order a center support bearing, and I gotta do a few other little things. So that's just gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm honestly still kind of surprised that we threw this in today because, you know, we kind of started a little late, but we did it. So thank you guys so much, and hopefully next episode we'll have it running by the end of it. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, thank you guys.